Hi everybody, I was recently asked by a member to comment on the negative propaganda that's all over the internet about me. So I thought I'd make this little video and explain and outline what's going on here, the paradox of the propaganda versus the reality. So here we are with a Google search, Iain Clifford. First thing that comes up is an approved judgment. If you don't know the backstory of this, you might think I'm some kind of a criminal. Then you've got Dan Needle, Iain Clifford stamp runs a scam. And then you've got this, you've got the Financial Conduct Authority versus Iain Clifford stamp. You've got a man called Iain Clifford stamp runs a scam, another Dan Needle. You've got the Financial Conduct Authority versus Iain Clifford stamp. Then you've got another one, Dan Needle, Iain Clifford stamp runs a scam. And then you go to page 2 on a Google search and you've got this one, another one from Tax Policy Associates, Dan Needle. Then you've got this one, Facebook still allowing unauthorised wealth schemes, Matrix Freedom, Iain Clifford stamp. Then you've got this, Iain Clifford stamp versus Open Democracy, and it goes on and on and on. And then you look into what's really going on here. Now, if you go to my website here, Iain Clifford Whistleblower.is, you get to see a different side of this story. You get to see the truth of this story. For 25 years ago, I signed a joint venture with HBOS, the bank, Halifax Bank of Scotland. It was Bank of Scotland back there. And the whole of this website goes through a 25-year story, but really a 16-year backstory of FCA malfeasance. And you can read about it in here. There's a whole chronology. It goes through the whole of a 16-year period of FCA malfeasance because I'm a whistleblower. And it goes into all of these things here. The malfeasance themes, what's going on with the FCA, what are they doing, how are they doing it, how are they covering up a £90 billion fraud across the top 6 banks, how I took them on as a whistleblower, how they've been trying to destroy my reputation for the last 16 years, with all manner of propaganda, by employing proxies like Dan Needle to push out propaganda, by working with people like Simon Goldberg to push out propaganda, etc., etc. I think you get the story. It's all in here, Iain Clifford Whistleblower.is. Then we start looking at, well, what actually do? I provide a technical research facility for the members and envoys of the Republic of Old Souls. You can see my work here, ecclesialaw.org, Ecclesia Law Reports. And here I write all about all different subjects, but I'm most proud of is the recent paper I've just published, which is Signature Credit. Could it win the Nobel Prize? It's all about recouping signature credit. That is the credit that you use as a living man or woman, or you have been using without knowing it, to finance bank payments, to finance mortgages, credit cards, loans, etc. And I break it all down, and I also break it all down in other papers here in terms of signature credit recoupment. This is the section I was talking about, but there's other sections that also go into free man on the land, go into sovereign citizen, go into OPCA, go into all various manners of what a lot of people are reviewing who are trying to get free from the control agenda. There's over 50 research papers here that I've written, many of which have been very well received, and a lot of people have given me some very, very positive comments on them. So that's one thing that I do. I write the research papers. I also present webinars. I present a huge number of webinars to our membership. And here are some of the webinars I present. Every Saturday I present a webinar on how to solve various problems around the world in all of the jurisdictions that we operate in as a Republic of Old Souls Private Members Association and the sovereign nation of Republic of Old Souls. In the UK, in the USA, in Canada, in New Zealand and in Australia, we have the majority of our members. So I present these webinars every Saturday and have been doing for a long time, and get very high numbers of attendance and also get very, very good testimonials off the back of the webinars. So let's now go into some of the other propaganda that you're going to see out there. So here's a competitor who's also working with the FCA, Simon Goldberg, on his Matrix Freedom Review. This website is absolutely crammed solid with malicious falsehood, with propaganda, with lies, with distortions. And I tried suing Simon Goldberg in the High Courts in 2024, and and believe it or not, the case was struck out. Why? And I believe that the reason why is because Dan Needle and Simon Goldberg are working for the FCA. They're the media proxies for the FCA. And then you've got this website, which is Matrix Freedom Exposed. And here you got a picture of me here, not a very good picture I have to say, but this is David Ayres, who's part of a pirate faction, a part of a faction who tried to undermine the Matrix Freedom membership and all of the recoupments that have been confirmed by the IRS in 2025. 600 million of signature credit recoupments were undermined by rogue actors, pirates, including David Ayres. And all of this stuff here, which is using this website to market various services that he provides and trying to recruit members of the former Matrix Freedom membership to move over to his private members association, which quite frankly doesn't offer any real remedies that I can see. Well, then you've got the paradox and the opposite side of this. If we look in here, if I just move that out of the way and look in here, this is an interview I recently did with Mel Clark of the Never Settle podcast, and you get to see a lot of very positive comments on here. You know, Iain, wow, what an incredible soul. You look down here and you've got great podcast, always know so much, amazing interview. You've got so many positive comments following recent interviews that I've done with Mel Clark on this channel. So have a look at this channel, the Never Settle podcast with Mel Clark. You can see it up here. 16 years of persecutions, the Freedom Plan. I explain it all on this interview here. And then you've got this, this is following a webinar I did not that long ago. I'm going to just scroll through here. This is some of the testimonials that I've received on recent webinars, following recent webinars. All of these testimonials of members that are giving me positive feedback on what it is I do and how I do it. All of these are testimonials and positive messages and feedback. All of these, and there's many, many more that we get on every single, after every single, or during and after every single webinar I do. So it's a bit of a paradox. I'm now 60 years of age. I've won awards for my innovations. I have built one of the biggest financial services organisations in the UK. I got a joint venture with the Bank of Scotland, an unrivaled joint venture. I ran a regulated financial services organisation for nearly 30 years. My businesses back in those days won awards. My businesses became, my organisation, which was called Integrity Financial Solutions, was the third biggest of its kind in the UK. I operated ventures in multiple countries, winning awards in various areas. And then I moved into the truth and freedom area and started to provide, remedies and solutions. Didn't get it quite right in the first couple of years, and I've openly admitted that. But since then, since I've been doing all the research, as you can see, on the Ecclesia Law Institute, and since we've been running the Great Escape protocols and offering those to our membership, I think that those who've come to the webinars and those who really get their comprehension of what we're doing and how we're doing it and why it works, agree that it's unrivaled, and we're the only organisation in the world that is working on a freedom plan, an independent sovereign nation with its own infrastructure, free power, proper health solutions, water from the atmosphere, clean water, how to get rid of the nanobots, how to operate with food straight from the farm to your table, how to operate with independent communications, and most importantly, how to operate on the monopoly board of commerce without all the stress, without struggling to make ends meet, by recouping signature credit, by putting assets in private trust, by operating privately, perfectly lawfully, which is why so many of the members of our organisation give me glowing referrals and glowing testimonials and so many referrals. We also have hundreds of advocates who make referrals. Most of our new members join because of referrals from advocates. So does this really sound like an organisation that needs to scam and defraud people for them to join? Let me explain one last thing before I sign off. I don't need to do this. I'm very capable of making ends meet myself. I've won awards for algorithmic trading systems. I run a sports trading platform which rivals the likes of Tony Bloom and others that are in professional sports trading. Tony Bloom, by the way, financed the acquisition, and he runs Brighton Football Club from his sports trading earnings. I've built an algorithmic system which is very, very similar to Tony Bloom's system. I also have a wages and tax transcript from the IRS of $4.4 million. So I know how to do signature credit recoupment. Why on earth would I want to be scamming and defrauding people to join the Republic of Old Souls when I can trade the sports markets with professional algorithms that I've built, when I can recoup my own signature credit? I don't need to work. I don't need to spend 60 to 80 hours a week working on the Republic of Old Souls program and the Freedom Plan and all the protocols and all the interviews I do and all the webinars I present and everything else that I'm involved in delivering to the members. Why on earth would I do all that? Why, when I can make my own money by sports trading, when I can recoup my own signature credit? As I'm probably, many people say, I am possibly the world's leading expert on signature credit recoupment. Why on earth? Ask the question, would I need to defraud people? Would I need to cheat people, given what I've just said?